Throw it down, big man.
Welcome everybody back to the Throw It Down Big Fella Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Rufus, and with me I have he is really like a big brother to me, you guys. This guy, I'm trying to figure out, Marcus, the things that you don't do. Like, because if I like list out all your resume, like it's a very long resume. Like you're a photographer, you're a professor, you host the Mississippi State pregame and postgame show, which is in Mississippi for all y'all, and of course Mississippi State alumni, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can go all night talking about the stuff
Don't
you
forget
done.
news anchor now. Also
And
anchored
news
the news.
anchor. How can I forget? Former WRG news anchor, now news anchor, Mississippi. How can I forget that? But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my true friend, the one and only Mr. Marcus Hunter. Marcus, thank you for joining me.
Hey, what's going on, Greg? Man, pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's it seems like a tradition now when we start college and NFL season, kind of getting together and talking about it. So definitely happy to be here and happy you asked me to be on.
No, no problem, no problem. I had to bring you on, Marcus, especially we're gonna get to the NFC West later. Especially your Mississippi State Bulldogs, like impressive win against Southern Miss today. Like just a just a sound victory you guys went through today. Just describe how it went down, the game plan, just what happened today.
Yeah, so it's one of those games where I kind of thought the game was going to go the way that it went. Mississippi State and Southern Miss kind of going back and forth in the close game up into the third quarter. When because State has 65 or 50 transfer players coming in, and a lot of guys who are much better than I wouldn't say much, but who are more improved than the players they had last year. That's why they brought them in. And another year under Coach Levy's system, and another year under the defensive coordinator, you just knew that they would be a better football team. And in being a better football team, you knew they would eventually wear down Southern Miss, who is a good football team and prove they can run with an SEC team for a half of football. But after a half of football, you got those big bodies from SEC players weighing on you the entire game. You're going to have games break open. And, that's what we normally see in a lot of these early games. Some of these smaller schools are able to stay with some of the bigger schools for maybe a half of football, and then you see the blowout in the second half. People are like, sending messages in the first half. Ooh, could this be an upset? Then it's a blowout in the second half because they just wear them out. So, it was good to, see Mississippi State win in dominant fashion. And that third quarter where the score was 20, where it was 21-0 in the third quarter, Mississippi State. That we talked about it. The best quarter of football Mississippi State fans have seen in a long time. 21 points, not giving up any, scoring three rushing touchdowns, throwing the ball all over the place. That was fun to watch and fun to see. And, just hope that, we can continue that for next week.
Yeah, yeah. Sharpman, the quarterback, 26 for 34, 270, one touchdown, one interception, but efficient. Only had incompletions the whole game. Is he the quarterback that you want to have moving forward from Mississippi? Like he's your guy, right? Like you don't.
I mean, Blake, he knows the system. He is a good quarterback. He obviously proved that he's an accurate quarterback today. He did have that one interception earlier in the game. The defensive player made a great play on the ball as well. But yeah, he did throw that one interception. And there were some times where he may have held on to the ball a little longer than the coach may have wanted him to, and some things to clean up. But for the most part, he did what he needed to do, got the ball out quickly, got the ball to the players that he needed to get the ball to.
Mhm.
Now, as far as long term, this is his last season. This is the last season he's eligible to play. And, Kamario Taylor is, in the wings. And Kamario actually got in the game at one point and scored a touchdown on his first play in the game, but it was called back due to a holding. And so they took those points off the board, ended up kicking the field goal. And
Mhm.
so, a lot of Mississippi State fans believe that Kamario Taylor is the future, but also you have Copenhagen or Copenhagen. I'm not really sure how they say the kid's name, but he's from Florida State. He was at Florida State last year, and he was a four-star recruit, one of the highest star caliber quarterbacks that have come to Mississippi State. But he's going up against Camario for playing time for next year, or to be Shapen's main backup. So it's going to be interesting to see. I do know that all three quarterbacks did play today.
Mhm.
It was kind of a blowout towards the end of the game, and so Coach Levy got everybody in. But it was good to see, and good to see Shapen come out there and be efficient. Now we get to see what he does next week against a much more improved team, better competition, and no, we're ready for it, and he's ready for it too.
Yeah, yeah. Like you mentioned it, Arizona State coming to Mississippi State next week. Our first home game this year. How rocking is that crowd going to be next week?
Let me tell you something. So to put it into perspective, as a Mississippi State fan, you watched last year's game and you see where Arizona State's season went from there.
Mhm.
But you also see that Mississippi State lost that game by a touchdown. It wasn't, it was a blowout early, but the Bulldogs, they were able to, put up points late in the game and had a chance to actually win the game late. And who knows, if Mississippi State wins that game, that may change the course of their entire season, because the issue in that game was tackling, and that was the issue for the remainder of the season. Scottaboo ran all over Mississippi State in that game, and
Mhm.
nobody could tackle that kid. And so I know he's not there this year, but the fans have not forgotten that
Oh
game.
yeah,
They have not
yeah.
forgotten how this kid was bouncing off tackles. And this is going to be the game where the spotlight is really going to be on the defense, because the defense was run all over in that game. Let's just say it. And so this is the game where the defense is finally going to be able to show whether or not they are anything close to what they were last year, or the defense that, really didn't give up any points in the second half until it was really late in the game. So
Yeah.
we're gonna find out which team shows up.
Yeah, yeah, couldn't agree more. So, look at the rest of the schedule. I hate, it's so tough. It's so tough, and you said Arizona State next week. Play Arizona State next week. Texas A, Texas A&M, Florida, Texas. Who it's Texas still, but it's still, you know, we'll get to Archie man later. But Arkansas after that, Georgia. Realistically, if you took your fandom hat off, you had to really predict like what's the record going to be for Mississippi State the rest of the season. What do you think it's going to be?
I think Mississippi State's record could be a good 6-6. I don't see why Mississippi State can't be 6-6 this year. I'm gonna go look at the schedule real quick. I don't have it right in front of me.
I
Um,
I could tell you. After the Arizona State game, I could tell you just quick if you want to.
okay, okay,
Alcorn.
I got to pull it up right here in front of me.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think a lot of Bulldog fans, and maybe we are drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, but I think State really has a chance next week against Arizona State. I think they're really taking this game personally, and it can be a really big statement game. So if you beat Arizona State,
Mhm.
you got Alcorn coming in, and you got Northern Illinois. Now we know Northern Illinois got the big win over Notre Dame last year, but
Mhm.
that's not something that should be expected.
Right.
And you would assume that you would be Alcorn. And so then you have Tennessee coming in. And so if you can go into that Tennessee game 4-4, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to win at least two more SEC games out of there. Even if you only get one of the first five, you still got the Egg Bowl at the end of the year to hold
Mhm.
your hat on. And if you go into that game with a chance to go to a bowl game, who knows what can happen, and who knows what Ole Miss is going to be this year also. So if you can win the first four, I think you give yourself a really good chance to go 6-6. But you got to win these first four,
Yeah.
and it starts with Arizona State. And I think again they're taking this game personally, even though again there's a lot of different players on the roster, so not all of them were on the team that year. But at the same time, they have seen. I'm pretty sure if I'm Coach Levy, I'm making sure they're watching that film from the game from last year.
Like you said, that was a bar burner. It was at Arizona, like it was a bar burner last year. So payback is on the mind. I know payback is on the mind for y'all. So
Yeah,
you got to
absolutely.
repeat that twice. So I'll be looking out for Mississippi State. I think I remember a couple years back, you were just so down on them. Like I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for you that Mississippi State is in a better place, you know, like a better mindset, better place for you and
Hey,
for
listen,
your.
it's the passion, man. You know, when you bleed maroon, you know, you hurt when the team hurts.
I
So
understand. I completely understand. So some other stuff that happened while you were watching your beloved Mississippi State dominate Southern Miss. Texas it's not the same for Ohio State. They lost by a touchdown. So if I told you, because I know you probably don't know Archie Manning's stats. Do you think he threw for more than 200 yards in this game, Archie Manning?
Arch, I think I would assume by the way you're talking about it, no, he did not.
No. I mean, I need to work on my tone, my thing. But no, he did not throw for 200 yards. He threw for 170, 17 for 30, one
Ooh,
touchdown, one pick. You said it before I push record. Oh, it's Ohio State defense, yada yada yada. But some of it is on Archie. Like he has not played top tier competition last year. It was the bottom feeders that he was going against, and Ewers was the guy that was doing all the stuff. It was a quarterback controversy. Ewers and Archie Manning. People was like, "It's Archie time. It's Archie time." I don't know. I don't know. He looked lost, half defense. Like can we just say it's just one game, or is this just going to be a trend, you think, for the rest of the season for Archie?
I think when you are a young quarterback and you're starting in your first game, no matter where, but especially on that kind of a stage, and you know the expectations are for you to win the game. The expectations are for you to go out there and show why you are this high recruit. There's already a lot of pressure. Add to that, your last name is Manning, and
Mm-hmm.
you're playing for Texas
Mm-hmm.
at Ohio State. I can imagine the type of pressure this kid was under in this game. Probably going into it thinking or feeling like he had to do everything right or he was going to be criticized. And it's difficult to play a football game when there's so much more going on outside of football and if you're not able to focus it can really affect your play on the field. And I think maybe the lost look was because he just couldn't collect himself,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot of pressure, a ton of pressure. And he did get a start last year. He played a lot last year. He started against Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of talked about it. They are not, or last year they weren't a team that was to be feared when they came into your building. Also, that game was at home. It was in front of a friendly crowd, and so he had everything going in his favor. I think it might have even been homecoming for them. So, Texas, I think they're going to be okay. Will they win the SEC this year? I know I didn't think that going into it, but I don't think that they're going to be. I don't think Arch is going to end up going undrafted because of one poor performance. I mean, if anything, he'll get drafted and somebody will think they can make something out of him just because of who his family is and the DNA that's in him and just feel like he may have been underutilized or not coached up right in college. So,
Yeah.
I think Arch is going to be fine. I think Texas is going to be fine. But I don't think they're going to win the SEC this year.
Okay. I mean, who do you think would be the favorites, though? I mean, if it's not Texas, who do you think are the favorites, co-favorites to win the SEC?
Um, I mean, you still have to look at Georgia as, one of those teams that has an opportunity to win the SEC. Georgia, they're always going to be one of the top teams in the league. You wanted to assume that Alabama could be one of those teams, but obviously Alabama can't be one of those teams because they lost today, and so who knows what they're going to be the remainder of the season. I think you know, it wouldn't surprise me if at the end of the season Georgia and Florida are kind of fighting for it. I think Florida might be a
Mm-hmm.
team that's on the way back up. Ole Miss, they didn't impress me in the first half of their game today. They blew them out in the second half. But again, those first halves can go either way because you got a team
Yeah.
that's fighting for their life at that point. But then in the second half, you just kind of weigh on them. So
Yeah.
I don't think that Ole Miss team is going to be as strong, but you know Georgia, Florida wouldn't surprise me, and you can't leave out LSU either. So it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be really interesting to see kind of what happens moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, you could just those 14 could be like a Final Four SEC style, like you said, Georgia, LSU, Florida, and Ole Miss. Like you said, I feel like the first week, this is like preseason. It's just especially with y'all. Y'all started off real sluggish against Southern Miss, but then you picked it up in the third quarter, 21 points. It's like preseason. Like nobody really. You get your legs underneath you, so they say, like the second half, and so you get real sluggish in the first half, but you cover the spread. Like everybody loves when they cover the spread, when especially
Yeah.
with a blowout cupcake, like collect the check, like here you go, here's your check. We're just gonna beat you down now. So for Texas, the next three games they have, I think it's like San Jose. Let me see, yeah, San Jose State and UTEP and somebody else. So Archie could bounce back for these next three games, but then it picks up. SEC competition, it picks up. So I expect Archie to be fine. I just wanted the overhype train to calm down just a little bit, just bring it down level with Archie Manning, like because they were hyping it up. It was just like we got to see what you got now. All eyes are on you. And by what the Cowboys did the other day, shoot, he might be a Cowboy where they just traded Michael Parsons. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
say this.
Go ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
What
Go
you gonna
ahead.
say? I'm gonna say this about Michael Parsons. You would like this analogy as being a professor. What Jerry Jones did to Michael Parsons is like you have a paper. Well, you say, look, there's a big term paper due in December, and I'm telling you guys now in August. What Jerry Jones did, he basically waited until the last week of the season. He waited until that last week of December and turned his paper in, and it was plagiarized. It was a lot of bad stuff on there, and he got an F. That's Jerry Jones today with the Michael Parsons. That was an F. He could have done this months ago and got much better value, like 5 picks, 6 picks. Like trade him to the Saints. You trade him to that one team that's knocked you out twice already, and they play on, and you play them in 3 weeks. It's just a bad trade. I don't. And you get late picks because Green Bay is going to be good. They're going to be like 22nd picks, two for. It's a bad trade. Like, am I tripping or is I like?
No, I mean it's definitely a bad trade. If I don't know how Jerry is trying to spin it as a bad trade, and I think that you hit the nail on the head as far as the fact that they could have and should have traded him earlier to get more value and to get more picks back, as opposed to allowing this to play out publicly, seeing and knowing that he was not going to play for the Cowboys, and then the trade value went down because teams knew that you were going to be desperate to get him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the longer you waited, the more his price tag went up. So it took out some teams who were willing to pay that price tag for
Mm-hmm.
Michael Parsons. Now, I do, this might be an unpopular opinion. I do think trading him was the best option if you weren't going to trade CD Lamb. I think they should have traded CD and, save that money up for Parsons because Dak is already getting a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to build the team some way. And the way the team is already currently built, and they had no chance to improve the roster enough to be able to make any kind of a run. And I thought about this as well. You know, a lot of people, and I understand this is a completely different team, completely different situation, but a lot of people made a lot of the noise when Khalil Mack was traded,
Yeah,
and Khalil
you're
Mack
right.
was traded, and it's not like he's. I mean, he's still a Hall of Fame player, but he's not. He doesn't have a Super Bowl. So
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was five. It was 5 first round draft picks, right? Like five, like three
I
first
mean,
round and two second round, right? Am I three
yeah, I
and
mean,
two?
Jerry made
Yeah.
a terrible trade as far as
Like
like what he got back for it. But I believe the trade needed to happen, but he made a terrible trade.
he could have went to the Saints. Like why trade him to the Packers? And now the Packers are a threat. They are a serious problem. Like they were gonna
Yeah,
be your typical 11-16 and probably get knocked. We'll probably knock them out, or you guys knock them out. Now it's like Super Bowl. Like they got a clear front running defensive stud on that team. Like it makes no sense. And I understand the money talks. I understand that, but man, come on, Jerry. Like he could have sat out. He didn't have. Jerry had all the power. Like he had no trade clause, Micah. Like you had the power, Jerry. Like
he still could have franchise tagged
he
him.
could have franchise tagged him. He pulled a James Harden, what Michael Parsons did, which I don't think is never possible for NFL players. You tell them, like, I want to go to you get the best of both worlds, a trade into a good team. That never happens in the NFL.
It
And
only
you get your
happens in
money.
Dallas.
and it happens in Dallas.
Only in
D'Nico
Dallas.
Harris, D'Nico, and Jerry Jones, both of them. I think they had us. They were at the bar. They was like, you know what? I could outdo that dumb trade that you did. Watch this, like, because
No, I believe Jerry Jones watched his own documentary and decided that he was going to, relive the glory days of Jerry Jones.
we lived that meeting with him and Jerry Jones exactly when everybody was toasting, and then he looked and said, "500 coaches can coach this team." See that when he said that, I was like, wow, I didn't, because I was young. I didn't know exactly what was at that meeting, but I knew it was some foolishness going on. But yeah, he tried to relive the documentary, and the Cowboys will never win again. They will never win on the field again until Jerry is not GM. Just be the owner, just be a laid back owner. He will never do that. Jerry will be the death of the Cowboys. Like,
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. And but hey, I'm a Niners fan, so I'm here for the circus. I
you
enjoy
are.
and I enjoy and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the Cowboys drafting Arch Manning number one overall
It's a possibility.
because now you're going to have Arch coming in, and all the questions are going to be: when is he going to replace Dak? Are you going to
Mm-hmm.
trade Dak? When are you going to trade Dak? Can you imagine? And this is just, and this is just me thinking too far ahead. If the Cowboys were to draft Arch Manning, the grandson of a former Ole Miss Rebel, the nephew of a former Ole Miss Rebel, is going to the Dallas Cowboys to replace a Mississippi State Bulldog.
Oh man, that's drama. That's you could. That's a reality show, which you just like Dallas all over again. Dallas 2026. Like that's. Let's not think that far.
Listen, you got
Dak is still
Eli
my
showing up
guy.
at practice. You got Eli and
I
Archie
know,
showing up at practice in their Ole Miss gear.
right?
Looking
And
at
then
Dak as he's getting.
Dak's gonna come back his Mississippi State stuff. And say, you know what? Forget this. Like I ain't trying to like relive my good days. But Cowboys and Eagles next Thursday. I was kind of skeptical how this would go. Now I kind of know how it's gonna go. Like it's a funeral, basically. I mean, I just don't see how what will the Cowboys do? Like what, 3 wins, 4 wins? Like they basically take this season. Like it's over this season.
Yeah, I think this season is one of those seasons where they know they're not going to win it all, and the best thing for them to do is, and especially for Dak, Dak needs to just go out and understand that his defense isn't going to stop anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and protect the football, but try to put up as many points as you can. Try to have as good of a season as you can, because if they have a terrible season this year, even though it may not have anything to do with Dak Prescott, he's the quarterback, so he still may be looked at as a piece that has to go. So he
Yeah,
needs to go out there and prove and show that he's a good quarterback, no matter what team he's on, so that if it is time for Dak to move on to another team, he has a lot of suitors out there who's willing to pay him.
right. Right. So before we get to the NFC West, just quickly, LSU beat Clemson. Brian Kelly finally wins a big game. Finally wins a big game at Clemson at Dabo. Like, is the monkey off his back now, or is it we just one game? What do you think?
No, it's not. No, no. The
Monkey's
monkey's
still
not
there?
off his back. I mean,
Okay.
it's one game. I'm just happy that he's not really upset at his team after their season opener.
Right.
Let those guys be happy, and because who wants to fly back home knowing that your coach is really
uh,
upset at you? So I'm happy for LSU. Happy they got the win, and happy that we had at least one SEC team step up and show that, the SEC is still a dominant conference today.
I mean, look, Big Ten is making some. Ooh, the way that Penn State dominated Nevada, like Oregon dominated. Ooh, they play Montana State. I know it's smaller schools, but they are. Big Ten is making some noise. Like they
I
are
mean,
like
I mean, the
right
NIL is
there.
changing things.
They are. They're changing the competition. It was always SEC. Now Big Ten, like they got their number. Like it's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs, how they shape up. We mentioned Alabama's upset. The only upset that I could think of was this game. Mike Norvell, former Tiger coach, got that monkey off his back after that horrible season last year. The question for Alabama is this what happens? Like, what do they go from? Where do they go from here? Alabama, just
Well, so I want to put it into perspective a little bit. Alabama is the same Alabama like let's not forget they lost to Vanderbilt last year. And
Mhm.
I don't want to talk about how the fact that Vanderbilt was a better football team last year than they historically are. They
Mhm.
still lost to Vanderbilt last year. And you start this season losing to Florida State, a Florida State team that no one the bad thing about it is we really is Florida State that good or is Alabama that bad? Because the only thing we know is last year Alabama was declining and Florida State was pretty much at the
Pretty
bottom.
much.
And so to both of those things could be true. Florida State could be better and Alabama could be even worse this year. So we just don't know. And Florida State, we're going to know by the end of the year where they end up. But for
Mhm.
Alabama fans, I mean, like the fan that flipped off the camera when it was looking at him, I did see that. That's
Mhm.
how a lot of Alabama fans are feeling right now
Mhm.
because they're when they have been the top dog for so long and been able to talk about all the other SEC teams and all the other teams, and now they're finally about to get the smoke. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you go through this all the time in any program. Like you have your highs, you have your lows, and right now Alabama's going through a very log point of the program right now. I mean, look, the sky's not going to fall. They're going to still be what 8, 9 wins. Like the next two games, Monroe, Wisconsin, before they get to the Georgia game. So we could talk how the sky is looming, but they beat Georgia on September 27th. They're right back in it. Like that's how the SEC is. You're right back in the mix again. So they gotta it's the next how they respond these next 2 weeks leading up to the Georgia game. So
yeah, yeah. Leading up to the Georgia game, it's going to be interesting to see how Alabama responds. I think again, I just want to see. I don't know what to think about this Alabama team. You saw more of the game than I did, and you
mm-hmm.
said that it seemed like they were getting pushed around a little bit.
Getting physical
Florida
out. They're
State's
getting
more
physical.
physical team.
Getting more fit. Yeah, Florida State was
Yeah,
physically empowering their will. If you've never seen it's been a while since I've seen an Alabama team get physically outdone. Like I've never seen that. Like run, like physically run, and they got to get more physical. They got to and the quarterback play got to be sufficient. It can't just be subpar. If you're gonna have a not physical team, your quarterback's got to go up a whole nother level. And Simpson, that quarterback they got for Alabama, he ain't it. He just ain't. But he's gonna get better. But he has to get better, especially against Georgia. We saw Georgia. You probably saw some highlights of Georgia. They played Marshall. Got to get better. That plain and simple.
well, listen, I'm going to just say this, and I know I'm going to just say it early. Alabama, they need to be concerned about next week because
UNL
Louisiana
Monroe.
Monroe is going to
Oh,
come in there,
oh.
seeing what Florida State did, and not be scared, not be afraid of Alabama. And if you lose that one, you're going to lose to Wisconsin.
Oh. Is that
So
Alabama though? But is that Bama? I don't know. That's gonna be.
again, when so let's talk about I mean let's think about it in these terms. I'm looking it up right now. Let's think about it in the terms of Florida State last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
They opened up the season with that loss to Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm. Monday night game. I remember that.
And
Oklahoma.
everybody's thinking, okay, it can't get any worse.
Worse.
That was just one game, and then they lose to Boston College. They lose to Memphis, and it
Mm-hmm.
rolls and
It
goes
just.
downhill from there. And that Boston College game was at home. The
Yep.
Memphis game was
Was
at
at
home.
home.
So again, those next two for Alabama, they may be games that are at home, but it's still something. Sometimes when teams fall off, they fall off hard and quick.
Yep. They do. They do. Like you think that it's just one loss, then it ends up being two, three, four, and you're like, what happened? Like our identity is gone. The season's gone. Especially when you lose
Listen.
the first four in.
I was a part of a team like that my first year. Well, I was on the team then, but my first year at Mississippi State,
Mm-hmm.
high expectations. Lost a game you shouldn't have lost on a field goal, and downhill from there.
Downhill from there. You're like, how did I lose? Then we lose four in a row. It's like, man, season's gone. But just to recap, Memphis Tigers dominated UT Chat. Listen, Memphis, I love Memphis, but they got to start playing some better teams. Like schedule upper echelon top teams because they're never gonna get the respect if you just beat Chattanooga and they play Arkansas the 27th. That's probably the only marquee game of the whole season for the Memphis Tigers. Like they gotta start playing these top dogs because they go undefeated. Where are we gonna go? We're not going to the playoffs. So we're not going nowhere. We're just undefeated. We're going to the Domino's Bowl. Like, where are we gonna go? Like,
Yeah, yeah, you got to get some better teams on the schedule.
playing, we gotta get to the Big 12. How can we get to the Big 12? I want to be in the Big 12 so bad. Like, come on, we got to make this right. Pac 12, whatever. I don't even, maybe not Pac 12, but we got to get out of the American. That's the only way we're gonna get the respect. Get out of the American Conference. Like, what do you think about that? Getting out of the conference, going to Big 12. Do you think we can Memphis can hang in the Big 12?
I mean, the thing about it is if Memphis ended up in the Big 12, again, because of, the day of NIL, they will get, a lot of that money. Automatically it'll start coming into the university because of the sharing in those
Mm-hmm.
leagues. And so
Right.
they'll have the money to bring in the better players and to, build a better football team. Will it take time? It could. I mean, or it could be something that can happen pretty quickly, especially because, I mean, think about Arizona State last year. You get the right pieces in and you get the right coach. It can happen overnight, especially in today's football, in today's game. So
Yeah.
I think that the Memphis Tigers, they, at least the university is starting to see that while basketball is big in the city of Memphis, football is going to be the thing that's going to get you into the bigger conference and
Right.
the conference that you want to be in. And the investment in Liberty Bowl Stadium or whatever it's called now. I haven't been, I haven't been there in a while. I'm not sure if
Look,
it's still
Simmons Bank. It's
Simmons.
Simmons
Okay,
Bank.
still Simmons
Simmons
Bank.
Bank.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium. The investment in the investment there, the investment in Tiger Lane, and the next phase is going to be you got to invest in your practice facility. I'm not sure what Memphis looks like. I'm not sure when's the last time it's been upgraded. But
Mm-hmm.
if you go to some of these major conferences, you look in their football facilities. They have state of the art facilities, state of the art, um, dining hall,
Mm-hmm.
state of the art nutrition. So you have to have all of those things because players are going to want to go to your school, not just for the money,
School.
but also the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And when other conferences come looking, they're also looking at when representatives go to your school and go to your campus, what are they going to
Yeah.
see and how is that going to be reflective of
Mm-hmm.
our conference? And do you
Mm-hmm.
have those things in place?
Mm-hmm. And not have Stephen A. Smith talk about Memphis on a national light like he did and say, well, I know people didn't want to go because of crime, like Jimmy Butler. Do you even believe Jimmy Butler said that to him? Because I'm not even buying that 10%. Jimmy Butler doesn't seem like that type of guy, right?
Yeah, I don't
You know.
know if Jimmy Butler would have said that or said it in those terms.
Mm,
Maybe he said it, in a joking way, or I'm not really sure,
maybe,
but
maybe.
I
Because
think that
Jimmy's,
Stephen A.
yeah,
Smith coming out and saying that was really it wasn't the best look for Stephen A. Smith. But
there you
it happened. Hopefully he and the city of Memphis has
go.
moved past it, and you know,
Mm,
I know he said something about coming to Memphis. So maybe
Mary
is he
Young.
coming to Memphis? Or did that happen?
I don't think it did. Mary Young. See, that was one thing we should have asked Mary Young. He was at a convention talking about how murder is down, how crime is down, but nobody mentioned Stephen A. Like there was no photo, nothing about Stephen A. coming to Mary Young. His football's about to start, so he's definitely busy and booked. But somebody needs to bring that up and highlight. Yeah, Stephen A. still said what he said about Memphis, yada yada yada. But time would tell. Stephen A. just says stuff for reaction. He's the ESPN Tom Brady, so nothing more, nothing less. So he can get away with a lot of stuff. So finally, let's just talk about the NFC West, your beloved 49ers. I listen, everybody rides LA Rams. I don't know why, but they just fall on Matthew Stafford. Like he is not 100%, and he is maybe 1 or 2 years away from it just being over with. So I'm just gonna be keeping it like I'll start with Arizona first. Like projected wise, I think let's go 8.5 wins. Do you think Arizona Cardinals will go over or under 8.5 wins this year. Kyler Murray and them. Like,
I would say Arizona will go under. I think I'm going to put them at 8 and 9 on the season.
mhm,
I don't think, and even though they don't have the toughest schedule because they're in the NFC West this year,
right.
I don't really see them having a great season. I think Kyler Murray is not the answer in Arizona. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but I just don't think he's the answer.
I mean, they got Josh Sweat. He signed him with Philly. We got away. He's with Arizona now. I mean, former Mississippi State. Like,
I mean, and listen, and he may have a great season. He may have a wonderful season this year, but it's not going to be enough
it's
because
not going to be enough.
and they also have what Marvin Harris Jr.
Yep, James
Yeah, I
Conner.
mean, he's the going to be the key because if Kyler's not able to get him the ball this year and they're not able to have a successful season, they probably look to move on because they don't want to lose or waste his talents.
hmm Kyler, it's time. I mean, like you said, like Kyler, it's either him. Like he's got, I think, like 2 more years left on his contract. So you add that Trey McBride, James Conner, like they have. I don't know. Like the division's tough. We get that, but
I
when
mean,
is he
and they
going to
gave him the
elevate his
money.
game? Yeah, when is he going to elevate his game and take him not just to the playoffs, but win a couple games in the playoffs? So it's all on Kyler Murray, do or die for Kyler Murray. So LA
I mean, I'm looking
Rams,
at their schedule. I mean, they can start the season off hot, which is what they normally do. I mean, they have New Orleans and Carolina to start, and then San Francisco, and so they can start it off, at least 2-1, maybe 3-0, depending on what the 49ers are looking like.
mm-hmm,
But it's not the most difficult schedule, and just looking at it, it's going to be close. I mean, they can be an 8 or 9 win team because of the strength of schedule. However, I just don't see Kyler Murray leading this team to the playoffs,
mm-hmm.
especially in the NFC, which
See,
is loaded this year.
yeah, yeah. So if they were in NFC South, yeah, because NFC South is pathetic, along with the AFC South. Both the Souths are just pathetic. So we could like it, they should just go back, try to could potentially go to NFC South. Maybe they get an opportunity right then and there. But LA Rams, 10.5. Are you buying over under this team going 10.5? What's your feeling is?
Well, a lot of that is really gonna, be on the health of their quarterback. I think mm, 10.5 for the Rams. I'm gonna give them, that's a tough one. I'm gonna give them under. I'm gonna give them 10 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking they're gonna be a 10-7 football team.
Yeah.
Um, now 10-7, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
could win them the division this year.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, bro. I'm not rolling with that,
Now,
Marcus. I ain't rolling with
I'm
that.
not saying I'm not saying that it will. I don't think that it will because they're
Mm-hmm.
not my pick to win the division. But I'm saying 10-7 could win the division this year because I don't think the
Mm-hmm.
NFC West is going to be a very strong division this year. I think it's going to be kind of weak like it was last year. But it wouldn't surprise me if the winner of the NFC West made it a deep run in the playoffs because that's a division where teams seem to get better towards the end of the year when whichever team kind of burst through is
Mm-hmm.
really hot at that particular time. And so I
Right.
can see the winner of that division making some noise in the playoffs, but I do think the winner of that division could be a 10 or 11 win team.
Mm. I think under as well. I think 10-7. I think they make the playoffs. I just don't buy into the division. I think Stafford's health. You talk about Devontae Adams' health as well. You mentioned Devontae Adams' health. Like I know he's replacing Cooper, but his health is another issue at itself. I mean, like he's getting older. Puka, his health. I know he's one of the best receivers in the game. His health is another question mark. There's just so many question marks with this team on their health side. And defensively, Jared Verse, rookie defensive player there, he's good. Um, Sean McVay finds a way to get these folks organized, ready to go. But their health at some point, bend a break. We're gonna put glue into it to make sure it holds. Like that glue is just gonna not work. Like at some point, like it's just gonna break. And like you said, the backup is Jimmy G. Your guy, Jimmy G, is the backup
My
for the
guy.
Rams. Your guy. I just all the stuff we talked about prior to the Jimmy G takes were out there, but I get it now. I get the madness of what you talk
And
about Jimmy
listen,
G.
was I not right?
You were
Was I
right.
not right?
I didn't think you were right back then, but you're right now. Like you were 100% right. Like you were like the Swami, but like Marcus Swami. Like Chris Berman had the Swami.
No, he
You
is
were
not
Marcus Swami.
it.
He was not it. But if they go to Jimmy G, it's a wrap. It's definitely under. It's not 10-7. It's like 8-9, 7-10. Like the bottom is
And
falling. Like
but that's the thing that makes them, interesting and dangerous because if they're healthy, they're as dangerous a team as anybody in the
mhm.
NFC.
Yes,
But that is a big if on them being healthy.
him being healthy. Yeah. The Samson, your 49ers. So it was 10 and a half. Okay, yeah, 10 and a half. Over or under 10 and a half for your beloved 49ers.
I mean, they're my team, man.
I know. You could
you
be
know,
fandom, it could be real Marcus. Like realistically, yes. I'll answer
10
for you. Yes.
I think they're gonna go over. I think the Niners go 11-6 this year,
Mhm.
and they are one of the two teams at the end of the year that's possible for going to the playoffs out of the NFC West.
Yeah. I think so many good things. Like Robert Saleh is back as your defensive. He's a defensive coordinator. He was with y'all. And Robert Saleh, for those who don't know, he is a defensive guru. Like
Yeah,
he got ran out of the Jets horribly. That stupid Jets franchise ran him out. Where Aaron Rodgers ran him out. Take the politics out. Aaron Rodgers did all that. But like him being a defensive coordinator, Fred Warner, the best defensive player, not only in y'all division, probably in the whole NFC. Well, now that Micah's still there, but I still take Fred Warner over Michael Parsons all day,
yeah.
every day. He's just everywhere. Everywhere I see Fred Warner, he could cover a corner, he could cover the best receiver, cover your running back, whatever you want Fred Warner to do, he's right there. So you still got him. You still have Joe Bosa. I just don't. They're the best defense, bar none, to me in the division, and then probably in the NFC. Definitely over. Christian McCaffrey is 100% back. I believe it now. Last year I was a little skeptic, but now he looks like he's Christian McCaffrey, CMC, Brock Purdy. It goes to Brock Purdy. Now we've been highly debated on Brock Purdy for a couple years now, me and you. So are you finally time to say it's Brock Purdy time? Like, are you ready to admit that, Marcus?
You know, I I hate to do this, but I've been listening to you, and because I've listened to you, I'm changing my prediction on the 49ers.
Oh
I'm
no.
actually changing it to under.
Oh no.
And
Because of
here's
what?
why.
Why?
Because one, while I believe that Brock Purdy is a formidable quarterback and will be much improved this year, I don't think the 49ers are going to be a better football team.
Oh
I
man.
have no faith in Christian McCaffrey's
Hmm.
calves and his Achilles.
You
No
don't?
faith in them.
You don't? You don't think
I
he's
have
back to CMC of
no,
Carolina that days?
no,
You do
no,
not think?
absolutely not.
Oh.
There is a reason. There's a reason we haven't seen him in preseason. I think that halfway through the season, I think if he gets Achilles tendonitis again, it's over. That injury really concerns me when it comes to CMC. We didn't see him at all last year. When we did see him, he was a shell of himself.
Hmm.
And so I'm not really sure what to expect. So I'm not really expecting a lot. We don't have any wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk is injured, and Ayuk, he's slated to come back in October. Juwan Jennings, he's in a contract dispute, but he's claiming
He's
he has,
there. He's
yeah,
he's
he's claiming
there.
he has ankle,
Ankle
tendonitis in
issues.
his ankle, he's Achilles too,
It's Ricky
and
Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall, John. I
Ricky.
think he's that guy. I think Ricky's that guy. You're gonna be fairly shocked at Ricky. Like
Listen,
I think Ricky time.
I don't
You're gonna
listen.
see
I have
that
seen nothing from Ricky Pearsall in a football game that has made me say special. That
people
has
have
made me
hyped him
say
up. People have hyped Ricky up all all year to this point. Like
yes, because the 49ers have no choice but to hype him up. They're going to use him a lot on the offense. Juwan Jennings is in a contract dispute. They're trying to get him to come back. They're going to overuse him. and they're gonna overuse CMC. I just,
Brian Robinson, you got Brian Robinson Jr. Like
you know who I don't believe in? I don't believe in Kyle. It's not, it's not
Kyle
at this
Shanahan.
point.
Kyle
At this
Shanahan.
point, it's the head coach. I don't believe in Kyle. I
Oh
think
Lord.
because he's the two Super Bowl losses, I have no more faith in him as a head coach. So therefore,
It's against Mahomes. No, we can't just do that
dude,
now.
you can't blow you can't blow two double-digit leads in back-to-back Super Bowls to go to. Like, I have no faith in the head coach. So I believe the 49ers actually might go 6-11.
Oh
Wouldn't surprise me if
gosh.
they win 6-11. What's
Oh Lord.
eight, 8-9. I'll give them 8-9.
So you think it's over with? So you think Kyle Shanahan's getting fired? He's on the hot seat this year, by all
I think he's
indications.
I definitely think he should be on the hot seat this year. I think that the 49ers had the most talented team in football for 3 or 4 years and
Mm.
won nothing.
You're right. I don't. I feel like if you're gonna fire Kyle, it's got to be top notch, former coach, somebody like ready to go. That's the only thing scenario I could see Shanahan out, like Kyle Shanahan out.
You know, unpopular opinion, going back to last year's Super Bowl, a lot of people talk about how in that Super Bowl that when Kyle called the timeout to do an audible when there was a zero
Hmm.
blitz call towards the end of that game, that
Right,
was the perfect call for that moment. Because
right.
guess what happened the next year? The Eagles went blitz, 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 and got to Mahomes. That's the only way to stop this man, was to get to
Hmm.
him.
Hmm.
And Kyle was afraid that his corners weren't good enough, and the defensive coordinator was like, "No, my line is good enough." And Kyle vetoed him and then threw him under the bus.
Right. Because we
Don't
didn't even
trust him.
blitz. We didn't even blitz Mahomes. You're right. We didn't blitz him at all. Most
You
of
didn't
it
have to.
because like he was just afraid. He was like the defensive end, Jalen Carter. Everybody was just going at him. Josh Sweat, Milton Wood, like they just went after Mahomes, like you said. I, I, that's crazy. I'm thinking the 49ers win the division, and they're buying it into the deep playoff run. And I think, okay, Debo, you're gonna miss Debo. Tell me you're not gonna miss Debo,
Nah.
because I know, like that was good luck, good riddance. You got your money, congratulations, but you're not gonna miss Debo
No,
after this.
Debo had a good year. Yeah, he had one good year. They didn't win anything.
And win anything. So I think you're over. I think you're emotional. I get it. You're just emotional. Like, and I'm here for moral support, but I'm here to let you know 49ers are going to go win a division and go to deep playoff run.
I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you are. You're going to be wrong. Seattle, this is a team that's going to go under. It's 8.5, definitely under. This is a remodel year at its finest. Your boy Sam Darnold is with the Seahawks after he got ran out of Minnesota after those final two games. You know what? I'll admit you were completely right on Sam Darnold. Like Sam Darnold can only take you so far, and then when you
Yes.
need him the most, lets you down every time. And
Yeah. He's Sam Darnold. I mean,
right.
listen, there are guys like who have it and who don't. You know, just watch Patrick Mahomes highlights.
Mm-hmm.
He just makes plays.
Just
He just
makes plays.
knows how to make plays. When his team needs to play, he always makes the play.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold never made a play.
Right.
He can get the job done,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't making no plays. And in
Mm-hmm.
the playoffs, you need playmakers.
Yeah.
And
Very
so
simple.
I actually think Seattle's going to be over, though. I think Seattle,
Oh,
I think they're a 10 or 11 win team.
you think so?
I think they're
No.
going to shock a lot of people in the NFC West. I think Sam
Mm.
Darnold is going to have a really good season from a quarterback stat standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to take them anywhere. I mean, maybe the final game of the season when, maybe Seattle, San Francisco, a playoff spot's up for grabs or something like that, and Sam Darnold's going to turn into Sam Darnold. But I think that they're going to be a very impressive team this year. I think I like a lot of the changes they've made. I like the moves they've made. I think they moved Geno for a reason because they're changing their offense. I think Seattle's going to be a better team than people expect them to be.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I love JSN, the receiver Jackson Smith, and Cooper is there. I don't know, man. But you think Seattle is the division winner? You think they'll win the division?
I think they'll be in the race for the division. I think the division is going to come down. Honestly, I think the division comes down to San Francisco and Seattle. I think it really comes down to
Well, it can't
so
be
I'm
San
so out on
Francisco.
San Francisco.
You know what I'm saying? It can't be San
LA and
Francisco.
Seattle.
LA and Seattle.
It's going to come down to LA and Seattle.
Okay. Okay. So you got LA. So you got both of them in the playoffs, regardless. LA, Seattle,
No,
both
no,
in the
no.
playoffs.
I don't think the NFC gets a
Two
non-division
teams.
winner in.
Oh, you think it's just one? That's it. One
Yeah.
winner, either LA or Seattle. I'm going the other way. Unfortunately, I thought this would be a slam dunk. Me and you both think San Francisco, but I'm thinking San Francisco, and I'm taking the Rams to get a wild card. I very shocked, Marcus. This shocked me. I thought we had this was like this on San Francisco. Like we will. You definitely got to come back during the season, like around the midpoint, and we'll resurface this whole debate
Yes.
about like.
Yeah. We'll see where the Niners are at that point. Now,
Mhm.
again, I think San Francisco will be a late surging team. I
Yeah.
think they'll get better as the season goes on, but I don't think that it wouldn't surprise me if they,
Hmm.
never recovered after a slow start.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Well, you guys, that will conclude this wonderful episode, this NFC East breakdown and emotional support time for Marcus, because he has the best of both worlds right now. He doesn't know Mississippi State is rolling, and San Francisco is going to do their thing. But I'm here for the support, my brother. I am here for you,
Well, I
always and
appreciate you.
forever. Tell people where they can find you. You know, you're everywhere. You just tell everybody the superstar that you are, where they can find
Yeah, I can be. Hey, I like the gas there.
you.
I can be found a few places. If you want to find me on social media, my Twitter and or X and my Instagram handle Marcus__ Hunter. That's with two underscores. If you are ever in Mississippi and you want to see me on the news, you can watch me on WCBI. Or if you're listening to Mississippi State football, you can listen to me on the Mississippi State Learfield Sports pre and post game show. 2 hours before game, 2 hours before kickoff, and right after the game ends. And let's see. Or if you're ever just in Starkville and you're hanging out on Mississippi State's campus and you want a tour, I can get one of my students to give you one. So,
See, that's what I mean. Superstar, you get people to tour. You don't even have to lift a finger. Let's let everybody else do the work. Like you made
oh
it,
no,
Marcus.
oh no, oh
You
no,
made
I'm doing a
it.
lot of the work.
You got assistants. I know you have assistants now. Don't even like you got assistants now.
I have some TAs. I have a few TAs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew you before humble beginnings. Now you just look at you like
Hey man, listen, I'm just
look at
hey man, hey, well, and from then, I've always been a teacher. I've always been a
you. You
teacher.
always been. You've always been a teacher.
Our first time working together, I
Hmm.
was up there, just trying to
You were.
lend any knowledge that I could.
You are a great jockey. What's the kung fu guy? What's the Yama guy? You're there. You're the teacher. I'm the student tutor. You're the math. You're the teacher. So I appreciate
I
everything you've
appreciate
done.
that.
I
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
what you've done for me. So
Well, you've done a great job for yourself. I mean, you took the took everything I tried to teach you, and you took it and you ran with it, and you
yes,
know
yes,
did a
sir.
great job. And so there are people who don't try and don't
Hmm.
try to listen, and who get offended when somebody tries to help them, and you didn't, and now you're soaring as well. So
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to see that.
Appreciate it. So that will conclude this wonderful, wonderful episode, you guys. We're going to bring Marcus back on some point in the season, college, NFL, and just relash all this and talk a good time and have a great time. But you guys, please subscribe to my podcast, GR Production YouTube channel. Throw it down, big fella. For my special, wonderful guest, my big brother Marcus Hunter. I am Greg Rufus. Thank you so much for joining me. Peace out.
All right, man, holla back.
Throw it down, big man.